Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We are here with day 2 of the week long of the Storybook Gnome Suites. Just to remind you of what we got, here's the stamp set. I don't know where the dies went. They're somewhere on this desk. That's the stamp set. If you watched yesterday's video, you saw everything, and everything is down in the description box. Okay, today's project is the only one this week that is not my original measurements. This one, well, okay, technically it is my measurements because the measurements done in this were in centimeters, but you guys know what I mean. Anyway, so this box, she just put this out. This is Flutter by Heidi, and it was so cute. I had to put it in this week. I had a whole different project planned for today, but I just really love this. And so I worked it out to put it in inches. You see a lot of crossouts, you see a lot of business going on because it's not easy. It's not as easy as just converting from centimeters to inches. You have to make sure it fits right. I don't even know what 7.8 centimeters is, and so you know, I just made it the size that I wanted it. I don't really, honestly, I don't know the size of hers. She said one of the measurements was 7 by 11 centimeters, and so that's roughly, let's see, that's 2.5 by 4 3/8 or something like that. So hers were like a little, it's smaller than mine, but nonetheless, the idea was hers. Flutter by Heidi. I will link her in the description box so you guys can see, but wait until you see this. How cute is this? And so your little boxes come out like so. I don't know if her boxes had an end or not. I saw the idea and I saw it was in centimeters, so I didn't watch the whole tutorial. I just kind of went with her idea and just made it what I wanted. So I added the ribbon to make the pull tabs, but I don't know if I necessarily like the ribbon hanging out. You can obviously just pull it out without it and go either direction. So that's what I'm going to do. And look at my gnomes. I colored again. Yay. Aren't they gorgeous? These ones I use Balmy Blue and it was not Pool Party. It was, let's take a look at the markers. And Bermuda Bay. So that's what I use. Balmy Blue, Bermuda Bay. This one I use Pool Party and Bermuda Bay. And Balmy Blue. So I just mixed colors because I thought they were cute. Alright, let's go ahead and get started on this box. It looks very complicated, but it's not. It's very easy. Okay. Alright, so for your base, so for this outside part, you are going to need a piece of paper that is 5.5 by 8.5. So here's that, 5.5 by 8.5, and you are going to score it at, put the long side up there at the top, and you're going to score it at 3 3/4. And then 4 3/4. So the 8.5 side on the top, the long side on the top. Make sure you have your score blade. 3 3/4 and 4 3/4. Okay. This one I 100% recommend your base has to be cardstock, and then you're gonna layer in cardstock and your DSP. If you just go straight to the DSP, it's going to be too flimsy to hold your box, in my personal opinion. So we're gonna do the layers, okay? So here's our piece, 5.5 by 8.5, scored on the long side at 3 3/4 and 4 3/4. We're gonna varnish, and we're gonna varnish, and we're gonna make sure that our book is even, which it is. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and mat. So let's see here. The panels. Okay, so my cardstock is, this time I thought it was slick. I wrote it all down, but I can't read what I wrote. All right, so this one I'm going to mat with Balmy Blue. And that's what I'm going to do. Okay. So my outside panels are cardstock 3 5/8 by 5 5/8. You need 2 of those. And then your spine is going to be 7/8 by 5 3/8. Okay. I love the combination on this one, but I'm not loving the reverse, but it's already cut out, so we're going to go for it. All right, so again, your bottom panels are 3 5/8 by 5 3/8. That's confusing because of all these 3s and 5s. But you're going to measure it and do what you want. I like the 1/8 of an inch border, so if you want a bigger border, I will let you math that yourself. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put that on there, and we're going to put this. Now, the boxes are, I don't want to say they're large, but they are big. They'll hold a lot. You can fit some bulky, crafty things in there. You can fit a lot of candy treats. Some cookies, like the little Walker shortbread cookies will fit in there. Lots of stuff will fit in there. All right, my spine was 7/8 of an inch by 5 3/8. Right, and just kind of line it up as best as you can. Okay. There we go. All right, now my designer series paper, you're gonna, you know, put it on however you want. I think I like it like this. Yep. Because you'll be able to see the little animals. Because I didn't do a heavy decoration. We actually didn't even use the gnomes on this one, did we? We just used our little forest friends. You can add a gnome. A gnome would have been cute on here. With like the little mushroom house, the toadstool, whichever one you want to call it. That would have been really cute on there, but that's not what it did. All right, let's add this piece on there. So see, we're halfway done. It looks complicated, and it is not. Okay, here we go. Now, for your boxes, I decided to do a more simpler box than what Heidi did. Heidi did the, these basically like no glue boxes, but it just took up entirely too much paper. These are the ones that have the extra flap that you can, it makes your bases sturdier, but I mean, I was okay. I felt this was a lot of extra bulk and a lot of extra paper, so I didn't want to do that. So I just made a simple base, in which we're going to make right now. All right, go ahead and put the, oh, I didn't put my spine piece on there. Now, this is up to you if you want to use the pattern paper on your spine or the opposite piece. This one I use the opposite piece, but I think on this one I want to use the same. I'm glad I saw this because I probably would have thought it was a scrap and I would have thrown it away. Okay. All right, so let's put this together. All right, there we go. Okay, now put that aside. Okay, our base, ouch, our box base is going to be a piece of paper that is 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. Okay. Okay. If you hear any background noise or talking, or if they're watching TV or something, I don't own the rights to any of that. It's just other people live in this house, and so, you know. Anyway, so 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. And we are going to score it at 1 inch on all 4 sides. So it doesn't matter which side you put on top first, but you're just going to go 1 inch, rotate, 1 inch, rotate, 1 inch, rotate, 1 inch. 1 inch on all 4 sides. This is just a regular box. You're going to varnish it on those score lines that you just made. You can use your scoreboard. When I craft, I use my my paper trimmer, to be honest. Alright, so we're just gonna make your tabs. It doesn't matter which side you start with, but whatever side you start with, you got to do the same on both sides. Some people like to make their tabs this way, where, you know, the long, and then some people like to do their tabs this way. It doesn't matter. You just have to do the same on both. So I'm just going to go this way and this way. And one more this way and this way. Okay. So you do need 2 of these boxes. I don't know if I said that. 2 of these trays, I should say. It's not really a box. So when you're cutting your paper, you will notice you can get these out of the same paper. Okay, so again, you're going to need 2 of these trays, and each tray is 2 1/4 by 3 1/2, scored at 1 inch on all 4 sides. Varnish, cut the score lines to make your tabs. Miter your tabs, which means just take that little chunk off the sides. Glue tape, or, you know, strong tape your corners together. Wipe off any excess glue or whatever you have. Okay, so that's it. So now we have both of our trays. Okay, so we are just chugging right along. Now we need to go ahead and make our cover pieces. Now again, I recommend doing these with the cardstock, and then you're going to layer with your designer series paper. Okay, so we're going to take our piece of, you're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock, which I only have 1 here, but let me grab another piece. Okay, so you're going to need 2 pieces that are 3 1/2 by 8. So 3 1/2 by 8. Right? And on the long side, so keep your 8-inch side at the top, you're going to score it at 2 1/4, and then 3 1/4, and then this is where you're going to kind of stop, okay? Because I would love to say that every single time the box matched up. It does not. So this is what I do, okay? I put my outer piece, I lay it over my top of my box, and I line up that first score line and the second score line on that inch, and then I come around and I put a pencil mark where that next score line is. Okay, it should be 5.5, but it doesn't always work out. So I always just do those two first score lines. I stop and then I measure and go from there. Okay, so yep, that's right. So I'm going to bring this back over, and again I'm going to put another mark where I think it should work out. Actually, I'm just going to go an inch from wherever this mark was, because that should be right. Let's see. You just need to get it covered. Okay, so that one worked out. So these measurements worked out to be 2 1/4, 3 1/4, 5 5/8, and 6 5/8. So that's what I'm saying. Like, just measure out your box. This box ended up being something completely different. 2 1/4, 3 1/4, slightly more than 5 5/8, and so slightly more than 6 5/8. So you could probably get away with doing it at 2 1/4, 3 1/4, 5 5/8, and 6 5/8, but that just sounds like a lot of drama when you can easily just do that 2 1/4, 3 1/4, pencil mark, and then an inch from your pencil mark. I mean, it was so much easier to do it that way than trying to figure out, you know, what's going to be what. So I hope that makes sense. Or you don't even have to do your first initial marks. You could just stick this in the middle and hope for the best. Whatever you want to do, I suggest you do whatever makes you feel comfortable. Now we're going to need our super thick tape, super strong adhesive. You can use glue if you want. I don't want to wait for it to dry, so I'm just going to use the tearing tape. So you're going to go ahead and put it on one side. Okay. And then this side. You can put more tape on if you want. I felt the two pieces like that were fine, because you're just going to put one over the top of the other as best as you can. You could put it on the bottom or the top. It doesn't matter, because we're going to cover it with the paper. I put my seam on the top. I think I put one on top and one on the bottom just because I wasn't paying attention, so it doesn't really matter because you're covering your seam up anyway. Alright, so I'm going to put it around my box, not too tight, because you want, you know, your box to slide in and out. I'm just going to make sure I can slide it in and out. Okay, so that works out well, so I'm just going to adhere that tape better. Make my lines a little bit more crisp. I feel like crisp lines will allow for easier slides in and out, right? I don't know. That's what it feels like in my heart. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do, instead of adding the ribbon, I think I'm just going to take a circle punch and make the finger pulls. If you want to add the ribbon, or I use this linen thread, all I did was punch a hole in the middle using a regular hole puncher. I took the piece of linen, I folded it in half, and I tied a knot like so. Just tied a knot, and then I just threaded that loop through the hole, and the knot prevents it from popping out. Heidi used a brad. You could do that too. You can use a brad as well. But I think for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and use a finger pull. So I will do that in a minute. But I'm going to put my other box together. So it doesn't matter which side you put overlapping. Just make sure your tape is on the opposite sides, if you see what I mean. So this flap has the tape on this side, and then the tape is on that side. So when you put them together, there's a piece of tape on the top and a piece of tape on the bottom. Okay? Or glue, or whatever you're using. Alright, so I'm going to take my box. I'm going to put it in the middle-ish. Make sure that's lined up. And not too tightly. I'm going to lightly press it. Make sure my box can easily slip and slide. And then press it and varnish. Again. Okay, there we go. So now we're almost done. Super easy. We are just going to glue this down. I took my box out because I didn't want to accidentally glue my box. You can use your tear and tape. The glue is going to give you that slight extra time to place your box. So mine's not all the way to the bottom. It's about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom and about 1/8 of an inch from each side. Okay. Make sure you don't have any extra glue. Put your box back in there and smush it down. There we go. Okay, so there's that. And we're just going to do the same with the other one. I mean, you could probably leave that box in. I just don't want to drip any glue and get it on my tray, and then my tray is glued into the top. No thanks. Just almost dropped that everywhere. Okay, so make sure you're putting your box on the opposite side. As you saw, I flipped my card around. It's easier for me to work on the bottom than it is the top, so just flipped it around. Right now it doesn't matter which one's the top, which one's the bottom, because we don't have any decorations. And I have all this excess glue on me. Alright, I'm going to slide this back in. That is where I want it. Okay. Alright, there we go. Okay, so I wanted my boxes to be the top on the left and the bottom on the right. If you already put your pattern paper down and you know, it's going to come out the same way unless you, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, so actually I think I did decorate before I had glued it down, but it's not a big deal. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and glue these down. I'm just going to use tape runner. You could use your wet glue. You know what? Wet glue probably would have been the smarter choice. I want my mousse to be on the bottom this time. Alright, so it looks like I cut the paper to be almost all the way. Alright, so check your pieces of paper because mine are too long. So let's see. I got to cut off a sliver. And I might have cut off too much. So I have it written down that my panels are I don't have it written down. So my boxes are 3.5 by 2.5. So I would just use 1/8 of an inch smaller. Put that on there. This one is probably too small too, or too big too. Yep. So I did it at 3 3/8 by 2 3/8. Okay. So here we go. Wet glue to the rescue because you have extra time and because this thing is hollow. So yeah, it would have made more sense for me to put the panels down before we glued it, but as you can see, it's no big deal. There we go. Right, now we need our cards, and so we have, oh man, I didn't stamp and color already. Gosh darn it. Okay, let's go ahead and stamp. You guys will get to see some stamping. I'm going to use my Memento black ink, and my block. My block is very well loved because I was the person who didn't clean it when you were supposed to immediately using StazOn. Alright, I have that little girl and then this little boy. Okay, I'm going to try to go fast because I am. Alright, so these panels measure, the cardstock measures 2 3/4 by 3.5. And the white panel measures 2 5/8 by 3 3/8. So I'm just going to stamp her straight down and straight up. And then I'm going to stamp him straight down and straight up as well. Once I find my sham, my Simply Chamois, just to clean it. Alright. And then I'm just going to place him. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp him straight down, straight up on the left side of my panel. I think he's on the left side. Yep. This is where your Stamparatus is a little bit better, but just for time's sake, I just freehand stamped it, and thankfully it came out nice. I didn't feel like getting it all out, Stamparatus and everything, even though it is literally right there. But there's a whole bunch of stuff on top of it. Alright, so let's take out our blends. I'm not going to do all of the coloring on camera, but we'll do some. You guys can fast forward if you want. But let's see. I do have the medium skin tone. There we go. Of course, it was all the way on the bottom. So the medium skin tones, and I have the soft suede, but I'm going to use medium skin tones. So this is the SU 500 and the SU 600. They're called Bronze and Ivy. Oh wait, no, these are different ones that I used before. So this is the Bronze and Ivy. The other ones are SU 500 and 400 or 600. I don't know. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and color his nose and his mouth. What I like about these alcohol markers is they take the gel ink very well. So if you oopsie daisy color outside of the lines on his white beard, just use a white gel pen and it covers it up. And then for her, she's going to be ivory. So I'm coloring it in, and then what I'm doing is going over the shadow points 2 or 3 times just to give it a tiny shadow without having to use the opposite color. Because the more you color over it, the darker it gets in that one area. Alright, so that's all I need to do with her. And then I will color her hat, and then I'll do the rest off camera because it sounds like everyone upstairs is just being loud for no reason. Alright, pool party. I'm going to come in with the dark first. I like the brush tip. Actually, when I'm doing the dark shadows, I like this tip. And just randomly putting some dark highlights in there. I'm going to come in with my light, and I'm just going to color right over it to blend it. So I like to go horizontal first. Actually, it doesn't really matter. I go one way first and then the other way. Okay, so that way I went horizontal. Now I'm going to turn her around and I'm going to go vertically. Just because this is such a light color, that's why I do it twice. Just to kind of blend in those shadow areas. Okay, that's it. Alright, so that's kind of what I do when I color. Obviously, you're going to color however you want, so I'm going to do the rest off camera and then go there. Okay, so I colored my gnomes in. I did a little bit of a different color scheme. I don't even know if it's going to match, but these were all the colors that were in the paper collection, and so I'm going to trust that they match. Close enough anyway. Alright, so I'm gluing my gnome panels onto my cardstock panels. And then I'm going to glue them onto my base, whichever order you would like it to be. This time I'm using the wet glue just because I think it's a little stronger and this is a base piece to make my box a little sturdier. So you're just going to kind of center it. Now, if you want to write a message, you know, you may want to write it before you glue it down. You can stamp out something. You know, stamp on one of them and leave the other one to write a message. Whatever you want to do. I'm going to leave both of mine blank for right now. Alright, so let's get this one on here. Again, I'm doing mine upside down because it's easier. Okay, there we go. I did take a white gel pen and added some just little movement marks on them. They look really cute. Alright, now my box, I'm just going to take this circle punch and as best as I can, because clearly it was an afterthought, just make a little indentation. You can just kind of grab it. It's really not necessary. You can just kind of push it, but now that I did it on one, I'm going to do it on the other. So I'm trying to get a little bit more. There we go. I'm going to try to get a little bit more on this one too. It's paper. I mean, it'll move. Obviously, it's a little bit more ideal if you do this when the box is flat, but I didn't, so there we go. So now you can just pull your boxes out, fill them with whatever you want, and good to go. So these boxes again are roughly 3.5 by 2.5. So you can fit a lot of stuff by 3.5 by 2.5 by 1 inch. So you could even fit a tape runner and some chocolates if you're giving it to a crafty friend. Or let's see if these will fit. These are just some chocolates randomly had on my desk. Could probably fit 3. You can definitely fit 3 of these in there. So 3 of the chocolate balls. Like if you get the Lindor or whatever they're called, that'll fit in there. I mean, lots of stuff will fit in there. So you just put what you want. But that is the project, guys. Thanks for watching. Oh, wait. Stop. We didn't do our front. Okay. My bad. I'm trying to hurry before my niece comes down here. Alright, so all I did was stamp on a scrap piece of basic white, and I backed it with the Calypso Coral. And I tried this technique that Janie Backer from Inspired Stamping by Janie, she taught me at the retreat, but I'm not very good at it, okay? So mine kind of looks like an M, so we're going to see what we can do with this one. Alright, so we're going to take our, you can use tape runner, or you can use your tear and tape. On the back, peel that off, and then we're going to, okay guys, don't make fun of me, alright? So how she did it is she just kind of started, and then she came back down, and then she went back up, and then she came back down. This would have been absolutely gorgeous with the ribbon the suite came with, but like I said, I don't think I bought it, or if I did, I don't know where it is. And then this one, I guess we're just gonna come back up. I probably should, okay, let's start over. Alright, I'm gonna go that way, and then this way, maybe a little bit closer. I don't know. She did it like 2.5 seconds. Everyone else got this technique, and I don't know, because I guess because I'm not a ribbon girl, I don't know. Okay, here we go. We might be on to something right fast. There's another ribbon technique that she did. I still can't get it. It frustrated me, and I just let it go. And it was so, like I said, everyone else was like quickly doing it, and I don't know. Alright. Hey, that one's really cute. Woohoo! Okay. I'm getting better. Alright, so now I'm just going to pop some dimensionals on the back. A whole bunch of them. And then pop it up. Just in the center. Obviously you can add whatever you want. Again, if you want to add your little toadstool peeping out. Actually, that looks really cute. You can do that. If you want to have a little gnome peeping out, you can do that. This was my plan for this one. So I love it with the little burst of sparkle. There you go. You can do a ribbon tie, a closure. I mean, it doesn't need it. It stays closed. But if you want to, you can. But there you have it, guys. I hope you make these. Tag me in it. Tag Flutter by Heidi. And like I said, I will tag her in the description box. And thanks for watching, guys. Bye.